Hi, I'm going to make a drawing of an eye. On the left you can see the eye, so you can draw along if you want. Just push the pause button if you need some more time. And I'm starting with a well, a little bit clumsy start. But clumsy starts is also a start. A start is a start, and the most important thing about drawing is you have to start with it, and then the rest comes. And I immediately add some tonal values by adding some hatchings. So adding lines and tonal values is something that goes hand in hand. You could also say it's not a very disciplined approach, Peter. Anyway, I'm trying to define the highlight on her pupil. I really like ballpoint, by the way, to work with. Adding some accentuations here and there. Sometimes the accentuations give it more character. So on the one hand you have these more general, these types of hatchings are to get the pupil livelier. Those, when you look closely at the pupil, you see those kinds of lines towards the middle. But I like to add accentuations to get it livelier. Some hatchings are more general to get it to a certain tonal value. I am correcting the first setup of my lines. I just corrected that because I started a bit should I say clumsy? Not really disciplined, perhaps. Anyway, trying to get the tonal values here and there right. Adding some more darkness to the, I believe it's the cornea, that dark line around the iris. So the lower side of the eye needs some definition too. And sometimes I don't really like to get all the details totally right. There is a certain dreamy quality, I think, about not being totally accurate or not trying to be totally refined in everything. To leave certain things a little bit undefined, so to speak. So you can say it's laziness. Perhaps you're absolutely right, but it's also a sort of feeling that I have, certain not wanting to be too detailed, too accurate, because it can become tedious if you want to make everything detailed. Sometimes you just want to have some sort of dreamy quality to a drawing. I try to. And to get a white of the highlight effective, everything else should be a little bit darker. Even the lightest areas should be slightly darker than the whitest area than in the pupil with that highlight. So that's something to think about. But that's something for tonal values. It's important to take note of how you distribute the tonal values and how you isolate a certain detail, in this case the highlight in the eye. The model of the eye had a sort of artificial eyelash on, I think. I don't think this is makeup. I think this is really an artificial eyelash. So at first I thought, well, maybe this picture is too unnatural, but on the other hand, I thought it can be a nice drawing to use this as a source photograph. And here I'm making an area darker to get tonal values right, and have to be careful to not make everything too dark. And there has to be a little bit of a tonal value around the eye also. On the area above the eye, in the area above the eye also some tonal value. Otherwise the eye is a bit too isolated. You want to have the suggestion of skin around it. Here I'm adding a little bit of tonal value, I think, in the white of the eye. Yeah, to make the transition between the white in the eye and the darker area smoother, here I'm adding tonal value. Making this area darker. Let me know in the comments what kind of videos you would like to see, so I know a little bit about what you would like to to get from this channel. Here I am accentuating that line above the eye. Sometimes it needs a little accentuation here and there. Some more hatching around the eye, so now you can see that the white of the eye speaks more. It has more character, I think, because the area around it is a little bit darker, so the white appears more whitish as a really white area. Otherwise it's just the white of the paper, and you don't want just to see the white of the paper, it has to be the white of the eye. So it gets more, let's say, shape by adding tonal value around the eye, more character. Now I'm adding those eyelashes, also very important, and as you can see I am just suggesting eyelashes, accentuating here and there such a hair, so I'm not really drawing much lines. It's just a few accentuations here and there which form a certain, sometimes it forms a little line, but if you look below the pupil and the iris, you see more or less accentuations instead of really lines, and that's more suggestive. So I think that's important to notice. Here I'm making the white of the eye a little bit darker so it gets a little rounder in appearance, and it isolates the highlight in the eye a little more. I see that the shape of the eye that I'm drawing is not totally correct, I think, when you compare it to the photograph. But I think it's a nice eye anyway. I'm looking at the lower area. It's not really correct, I think. Not totally correct. Anyway. Oh. What shall I do? I'm starting to approach the moment, yes, that it's finished. This is the final result of the drawing. Thank you very much for watching. Press the like button. And thank you for watching. Bye. Subscribe, please.